Welcome to the Rock You Podcast for authors, coaches, thought leaders, and speakers. Are you ready to share your message with a bigger audience and create a better world? It's time to see you, be you, rock you.
Very excited to have a good friend of mine, Jason McNamara. Jason is not only a good friend, but he's actually one of the co-founders of Rock You Academy and the chief business officer for Rock You Academy. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Ronnie Tsunami. It's always a pleasure, man. I love hanging out with you. I love talking with you. Your energy is so amazing every single time. And usually I learn something new. You're the man. Thank you for
that. I see, vice versa. Same thing. Same thing back at you. Jason, as you know, when we started Rock You Academy, we were trying to help thought leaders, right, coaches, speakers, and authors to live their purpose, get their message out there, and essentially create a revenue stream for them that allows them to live their purpose and sustain their family as well, right? Because we have a lot of people with part-time jobs or transitioning. And I wanted to talk today about wealth strategies and really, first of all, some of the challenges that we've seen coaches. So everyone knows you're not alone, trust me, in terms of money and struggling to share your message and save the world. We all have that mission of saving the world in some form or fashion, but then not having enough money to do it. How do we do that? And then thinking maybe even outside of the box. And that's where we'll talk about wealth strategies. Jason, if you don't mind, share a little more about your background. Just we're shooting the breeze here. So just, where do you come from?
Well, I mean, I could go a long story and probably write a book about an autobiography, but I'm going to try to focus it here. I was born in the Caribbean. I grew up here in South Florida. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. I worked hard for everything I had. I worked manual labor jobs. I had a job at Burger King, Subway, Walmart. And then I joined the military, started getting my formal education, and I started venturing into other opportunities that basically led me to where I'm at today, which is able to coach people and help them out financially. But in order to do it in a way where I don't need their money, I don't need their commitment, because I have everything set up. So what I'm trying to teach people, I've actually implemented in my own life, and I am comfortable. I don't have to work for anybody else. I can partner with awesome people like you and start new businesses and try to affect positive change in the world. And that's what we started doing with Rock You Academy, was by taking what people's greatest skills are, their greatest gifts to the world, and helping them unleash it, pass it on, and monetize it. They're going to feed their family and make the world a little bit better at the same time. So just a quick version.
Well, I know you have a number of jobs. Obviously, you're in the military, so you and I had that connection with Jordan as well. What did you do in the military?
I was supposed to be an aviation technician. I ended up being a prison guard in Guantanamo Bay. And then I guess I was good at what I did, hopefully good, because then the CIA had selected me to assist with the interrogation. So I got 2 nice little medals out of that deal and a lot of good memories in France.
See, this is why I don't get on your bad side, Jason. So I'm always like, what? And then one of the things that caught my attention too was you are an investor, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've been actively investing since I started making more money than my bills allotted for. So I had extra money and I wasn't about to go blow it on luxuries. I started investing.
And that's what one of the things that in terms of Rock You Academy and other projects we've worked on together, right, on that investment side of the house, you just seem to have a very solid grounding of what works and a vision for what you do. So I'm curious, why bother with Rock You Academy for the audience here? If you're successful in
terms of rewards. I after COVID, I stopped working. I sat around. I started getting my master's degree. I wanted to stay busy, homeschooling the kids, a lot of great things. But at the end, I was still bored. I felt like I wanted to give back more and do more. I wanted to affect change. And obviously, you know how we met and we started talking about it. It seemed like a good idea. When I talk about my story, I know I gave the quick version. After the military, I worked for the state of Florida for a few years. And my job was to help veterans overcome barriers to employment. So I would go out in the woods, I would find homeless vets, I would go to the American Legion and find guys sitting on the bar stool. I would find them wherever they are. And I would also reach out to employers and try to work with everybody to make it happen. And the job was extremely intrinsically rewarding. Like I could go around bragging to my friends and families about how good it made me feel. But I worked for the government, didn't pay that well. So after that, I got a job in sales. I was a trusted advisor when I was a sales guy. So I never felt like my integrity was challenged or anything like that. But it didn't give me that same intrinsic reward that that other job gave. So when I started talking to you, we started talking about Rock You Academy and started talking about giving back and helping people and really making a difference. My intrinsic reward bell went off, and I said, "This is going to make me feel good. I like this." So,
and you know, being in the military like me, I'm Air Force, you're Navy, right? We have a whole different, I would say, philosophy in training because we know how key training is in terms of the success of the mission, and we're very mission oriented in what we do, and we have to work with different people. I often say, I hate to fire people, for instance, because in the military you don't fire, right? You figure a way to make it work with those people, right? Sometimes you should fire, and I've learned some things since then in business. But the point is that we really try hard to make it work and to find solutions. We're very solution oriented, we're very team oriented, and we're very mission oriented. And I think one of the things that draws both you and me to coaching is coaches want to help others, right? And they often do it alone. So you and I bring a mission, a team approach to it, which is why even for us, right, Rock You Academy, a lot of it done with you, done for you. People are like, oh my gosh, all the other programs just tell me how to do it. You're actually helping me do it. I'm like, yeah, to me, it's like, of course. Like, what do you? Doesn't it make common sense? Like, why wouldn't I help you? Well, because people, when you have to provide implementation help, the price goes, the profit margin slim. So a lot of coaches and a lot of gurus just want to talk. It's very easy to do, less implementation. But you and I are like, let's just get something done. I don't think military doesn't go, oh, let's just talk about it for a long time.
Well, just as well as I do, talk is cheap, but results speak for themselves. So when we have a client that says, hey, I like what you're doing and I want to trust you, please help me. You and I, we're not going to drop the ball. We're going to make sure we pick it up and run all the way to the field goal, to the touchdown. So with that being said, it's about taking care of our people. One of the trainings we have in the club is alpha training. And that's like you and I, we're, like the fathers, if you will. You have a family you take care of, I have the family, and then we have the people that we help out in life. And when you want to really legitimately see them do better, and not see them do better for a selfish reason, just because you know that when they're going to win, you're going to win because they're part of your community, then you understand what we're doing.
Right. Now, let's talk about some of those challenges because we've met people across the board from as far as different experiences, right? Different experience levels in coaching. Some people have been in for 10 years, but most of the people I'd say have been a year or less. Many people just coming in, transitioning from a job maybe they've spent years doing as a career and then wanting to have a change, maybe monetize their expertise and become a teacher, a coach, speak about their experiences, help people prevent or avoid the same challenges they have. But that in itself becomes an issue, right? Because they may be experienced in their particular field, a specialty, whether it's as a business coach or as a speaker or as in a particular field in nursing or therapist, but they don't necessarily have marketing experience or sales experience that we see. And it's a big challenge in transitions. And you and I have both had multiple careers in transition to it. What do you, let's start from the beginning. When someone's thinking about transitioning, right? I got a full-time job. I want to be a coach because I think I've got knowledge to share. Do you have any tips for people who are thinking about moving, getting into coaching, for instance?
So one of the things that I see people do a lot is they want to monetize their expertise, which is great. You should absolutely do that. But you have to make sure there's a market for it. Whatever your expertise is, you have to put it out in a way that the market's going to respond. So before anybody leaves a job or leaves their, their comfort, the thing that keeps food on their table, they should do their research. They should be confident that when they do, that they're making the right choices. The last thing you want to do is, dive headfirst in and then end up struggling because you didn't plan ahead. And I know that's one big one that you like to preach about is planning. If we don't have that foundation, then the rest of the building materials won't matter. So getting that foundation right, doing your market research, making sure that your expertise is needed, and finding out the value, finding out who needs it and what they're willing to pay for it. That's important.
Yeah, I think that market research is one of the things that people tend not to want to do. And there's a couple reasons. And I've been there myself because, and we'll make excuses for it. Like I know popular excuses. I don't want to look up my competitors because it might taint my approach. And I don't want to be discouraged. I don't want to have someone else's ideas weaved into mine or be accused of that because I happen to research. I'm going to call you on it because I know I did this. And in retrospect, I'm like, no, I didn't want to know what the competition was doing because I might get discouraged. I'm like, oh, that person's doing that. Then why am I doing? They got more experience than me, or they've got more. They've got more. They just do a better job than probably what I could do, or it can be discouraging when you do a competitor analysis and you find out your competitor is doing a lot more than you or provides a lot more than you.
But it can also be enlightening.
Exactly. So it's the way you look at it, right? It can be discouraging or enlightening. And I like that term of it, enlightening, because it does, right? When you like one of my tricks is when I do a competitor analysis, right? Well, like I was looking for digital marketing platforms, right? And we had like Marketing on Fire, we had Kartra, we had ConvertKit, and we're looking at all the different marketing platforms out there. And it was enlightening because I saw all these different features, all these different services these other platforms were doing. And I created a nice spreadsheet and had little check marks of, and I was like, I hope our product has more check marks than everybody else. And then I was like, it does, but, oh, this is really cool. And then I was like, actually, we can do that too, right? So it was enlightening because then we can address that in the marketing. Number one, if someone says, oh, so-and-so does this, and you can go, well, yes, and we have that on the books to either build, or actually we do this and we found this way to be better, or, we can actually start to create something that's on par with that. But you don't know. I mean, you don't even address it if you don't even know that your competitor is doing that in the first place.
Well, there's just no reason to not do any research whatsoever. I mean, your competitor, yeah, you may get tainted by their idea that shouldn't change yours anyways if you're confident in your abilities. But at the end of the day, they've spent money probably to do market research and put the wheels on the bus that make it go around. So if you're trying to build a similar bus, look at how that bus operates. Don't invent a new one. Make their bus look better.
From a marketing perspective, one of the things I like to do is when we have a competitor analysis, like I said, we created the chart, was actually to go to their websites and we would actually look into the page, right? Because you can see the source code of the page. And we would see, oh, here's the keywords that they're putting into the page, the descriptions, things that we could then say, well, oh, that makes good sense. Well, let's go ahead and use that. As you said, we don't reinvent the wheel. So in essence, we can help with optimization for a page by looking at our top competitors. How did they optimize, right, their stuff? And if they optimize it that way, wow, then we should probably, and they're getting a lot of traffic. Now, therein the catch. You want to emulate what successful competitors are doing, not
Yes.
Right.
It's an important one, right? It really is.
It is. It is. What other tips do you have?
I took some notes before we talk because I wanted to talk about a lot of times people, they put too many hats on at one time. One of my favorite sayings, right, is don't be Superman taking out the trash. I love that saying. So if you're a coach and you're an expert in this one area of life, Are you going to become a marketing expert, a tech expert, a this expert, a research expert, a that expert, and then still have time to make your spouse happy? Probably not. What you need to do is trust your team. So one of the things I do, Ronnie, as you know, is I employ people. I trust my trusted advisors. I reach out to different marketers. I hire people where I need them to get the mission done. And I don't try to overwhelm myself by pretending like I have time to learn absolutely everything. And what I do is I have that mentor as they're helping me through my problems, as they're showing me the solutions that I need, as they're closing my gaps to excellence. I am learning more, but I'm skipping the time it would have taken me to figure it all out on my own.
I like that a lot. And I think if there's anyone that's guilty of trying to wear too many hats, as you know, Jason, it's me. So used to being a solopreneur, right? And as a solopreneur, we know we wear multiple hats. Your administration, operations, marketing, finance, tech support, customer service. Then you deliver, right, under operations, whatever the service is. As a coach, it's even harder now because you're up against a whole bunch of other people coming into this. And how do you get a leg up? How do you roll out faster? How do you do more? And I always say, okay, then either you got to automate is a big thing for me, right? Automate what you can, and then outsource is a thing that I've learned more from you than anybody else. Because I'm like, wait a minute, okay, and full transparency,
right? Since I found out about delegation, I love it.
Jason, guys, there are times where I'm like, we have who? And you're like, well, you got 3 other people helping with this. I'm like, oh, it's a foreign thing for me. Like, and those of you who work with me, you know this, right? Because I have tech skills, I've got marketing skills, I've got, sales skills, I got skills all over the place, not necessarily deep. I just have a broad set of skills. So I can get to a certain point, and then sometimes it's over my head. But I do have a lot of wide range of skills. But when you want to scale and grow bigger, you need that depth. And this is where I was like just so everyone knows, Rock You Academy isn't Ronnie Tsunami's academy. It's Rock You Academy. We've got experts that we have, like Rochelle helping us with email marketing. She's helping us with email marketing for the JV Jams Lab event that we're doing. I've got James Lamb, my mentor, helping me there. And then within the team, Jason, you're handling the business operations and working with the sales team. How many people do we have on the sales team now?
Well, we have different sets of team, but I think on the one down in Jupiter, it's 5. And we have the 10 other staff over on the other side. So
we've got a sales team, and then we have Jordan on operations, and Jordan, former military too, in Six Sigma, black belt, nuclear
engineer, and can teach people how to work on nuclear reactors.
I mean, this is not a little team. That's why we're able, when people say, oh my God, how are you able to help everyone with implementation? I'm like,
we got this. Trust us.
We that because it's a team. This isn't just Ronnie.
Bring your friends. We can do this.
But the key here is it does take a team. And you have to know, yes, there are skills you need to know. And as an entrepreneur, there are some core skills. At a minimum, you need to be able to talk intelligently. I think, even on sales and marketing, right? Even if you're not doing all the sales yourself or doing all the marketing yourself, you need to be able to articulate your vision and what you want to accomplish to the marketing team, to the sales team. So understanding, and that otherwise if you rely completely on the marketing team, I think, in my opinion, and the sales team, and you have no experience, then you're subject to whatever they say. Like, you have to kind of take it, like, okay, because you don't know any better. But if you know just a few ground rules, right, and ways to monitor and a few key things, then it works better with the sales team. Because, you, Jason, tell us more when you work with sales, right, for what we do in the sales teams, and the people that are there. What is it that you find easier to delegate to? Because, there's a lot of different skills where you're like, oh, this is a safe thing to delegate, whether it's marketing or sales.
I think all of it's easy to delegate. The only thing I can't delegate is having personal relationships with people who build a rapport. But everything else I can delegate. literally, from marketing to sales to tech to video editing to SEOing to whatever, you name it. They just can't be me. I mean, I tried to get the app to make an animated computerized automation of my voice. I was going to get a deepfake technology of my face too, so that way I can just put the script in and I wouldn't even have to record all the content. That's me being lazy, trying to save time. It's all about scalability. Everything I do is all about time. I'm 35. I don't know how long I'm going to live, and I want to make the best out of every minute I have left on this planet.
Good point. The delegation can happen. It might take more money depending on the particular skill sets that are needed. But if there's anything that I'm still learning myself is the delegation piece, because I have learned a lot of skill sets, a lot of it technology wise, because I am a tech, right? As a techie, I'm used to learning new things, and I naturally want to learn new technologies and specifically more learning technologies. That being said, I'm also overwhelmed. And I think it's thank goodness for the team, because if I had, it's one thing if you want to reach a certain limit or to have a certain threshold,
Like plateau, right?
Right. Yeah. You plateau and you're like, okay, I'm fine with that. But if you want to move beyond that, then it does take a team. And I think a number of the coaches that work with us have said that to us, where they're like, this is over my head. And not just over my head, but they're like, I hate this. Like, I hate technology. They don't just like, all right, I don't really have time for technology. No, they're like, no, I hate it. I don't want to work with it. I don't want to do the marketing. I just want to deliver what I do best. And I'm like, then you need to delegate. And who do I delegate to? I said, you need to find a team that can help you do what you need to accomplish, right? To meet your goals. And they're like,
with a well-trained virtual assistant. You don't have to shoot for the moon and hire everybody, every coach in your room, right?
right.
Get a trusted advisor, somebody like Ronnie Tsunami. Hire, we can even point you in the right direction. Like, what is your weak point? So here's the thing, Ronnie, like, when you start getting passive income streams, you start having different businesses making money. I'm not saying my time has a value, but I know over every month I'm going to make such amount of money, and I can break that down by hour. So if I can pay somebody else less than what I'm making per hour to do some work, why would I do it? Does that make sense? Like, I can go trade. I know for certain I can go hop into one of my little hedge fund chats, find a winning trade, and make some money today really, really easily if I chose to. But you know what? I'm not going to do that. I have other stuff to do. But my point is if I can pay somebody else 10, 20, 40, 50 bucks an hour, however much per hour, but I can make more than that with my time, why would I do the job that I can delegate out for less? And why would I do that and not focus on where I'm going to achieve the most results? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it is. And I call this wealth strategies. And as we're talking about wealth strategies, and more specifically for coaches, right here, we talked about market research, right? That's a wealth strategy. Knowing what your competitors are doing might actually find additional revenue streams that you're missing out on based on what your competitors are doing. Outsourcing is a big one, as you just said. And outsourcing, because again, wealth strategies, you're able to scale, right? Outsourcing allows you to scale, gives you more time to do other things and focus on what you do best. As I say, and when you can do that, then your customer, especially as a coach, your clients, they get more of your time rather than you giving only so many hours, because you got to handle marketing, you got to handle technology, you got to handle the finance piece of it, you got to handle the sales piece of it. And so how do you budget that, right? You from a wealth side, it's limiting your wealth. So if you want to grow your wealth, then yes, delegation does matter. And the third thing I want to bring up, because I think, Jason, you're an expert at this as well, is the multi-revenue stream. And this is going to trigger some people. Okay, this is going to trigger some people, because take a deep breath. As coaches, I'm gonna need some wine. I only have my water here. Yeah.
I'm gonna have some water with you. People want half the podcast.
As coaches, a lot of gurus out there are telling you to focus on one thing. Grow your business. You really want to make it succeed in a coaching business. You got to focus, put your head down. Don't put your head up. Don't look at anything else, because otherwise you're going to take your eye off the prize, right? You're going to shoot yourself in the foot by working on other things. Sounds good in theory. Here's the catch. Most coaches that I know, I'm going to just to give a blanket statement. Every coach that I know has multiple passions, multiple interests, multiple experiences. One of the biggest challenges when we're building people's coaching businesses is that it's when we tell them to niche down, because they're like, oh my God, I got to focus. Yeah, focus on a particular audience, because if you market to everyone, you market to nobody, and you don't have unlimited resources. So we gotta tailor the focus. But I love working with different people. Then I'm like, I get it, but they're torn. So what happens when they're torn? And you know this if you're listening, and this is you. If this is you, my bet is it is, that when you have to pick and choose, you freeze up. And when you freeze up, you make excuses and not moving on, because you feel like you're going to miss out. I should be focusing in this direction, but I'm going to leave behind this stuff that I'd like to work on. So never mind. I'm going to stay right here. And you may not even consciously do it. You may subconsciously sabotage yourself so you don't move in one direction, because really you're kind of missing out here. So how does someone run multiple businesses? And as a coach, like I said, it's very unusual. I have yet to meet somebody that truly wants to do one thing. Even in their coaching business, they may offer several products in it within a coaching business as opposed to one product, and they're still reprimanded. You need to focus one. I'm not saying do 20 thing, right? There's still a focus that has to happen. But the delegation helps to provide more time, outsourcing, playing it smart, doing the research ahead of time. But then having other revenue streams helps, right? So that you're not constantly worried about, well, how do I support myself when I want to do 3 different things? I got 3 passions, but how do I do this? How do I do all these different passions when I can't get one thing off the ground yet, or I'm in the process of getting one thing off the ground? And so, Jason, my question to you is there a way to run multiple businesses?
Yes. I'm going to elaborate, though. All right. I just want to give you a simple answer. Yes. Been running multiple businesses for a long time, between rental properties, different startups, nonprofits. I wear a lot of hats, but I understand where my best efforts go. So when I'm wearing those hats, I'm also not afraid to say, no, that's not my cup of tea. I'm going to stay over here and answer these questions, and I'll see you next month. Because that's more my position. I have to balance out my best use of the time. But one of the businesses we're collaborating on is the No More 9 to 5 Club, which teaches people how to free themselves from being dependent on anybody financially. It teaches them financial independence, essentially. Teaches them how to save money, lower their expenses, teaches them how to earn money. And then we take those savings and earnings, we teach them how to properly invest it to high yield compounding different opportunities. And when you were talking, I was thinking about diversification. So I love the idea of really hammering down on your niche, making sure, you're going on a low information diet, pushing everything else out of the way and getting it done. You know me, I'm a grinder. I like to dig in and I have some grit. I will make it happen.
Right.
But at the same time, you can't just put those blinders on. You need to have your peripherals going and see other opportunities that may come and go, or you may miss them and never get that chance again. So you should always be on the lookout, have at least an open mind. Don't completely go on a low information diet, put your blinders on. But at the same time, if you can relieve that financial burden, this is something I preach all the time, especially for coaches. If you don't need to depend on your coaching business financially, then that makes coaching a lot more fun and a lot easier. So if we can help people out with different streams of income, and they're less dependent on that one sole business taking off, then they can focus on, instead of how to monetize their business, and this is a good one, they can focus on how to help people, how to help more people, and then how to be more helpful. The monetization is going to come at the end.
So let me make this clear to everyone. If you're listening to us, this might be a bit confusing because you might be saying, wait a minute. Again, the traditional thought, right? The way that we do coaching is you focus. But it depends on what angle, right? What are we put it in context? You can focus on a coaching business and focus on a niche best, but I say choose a niche that you really love working with. Do the market research so you can make sure there is a market for what you do, right? But you can do other things. And if there's anything that I've seen that really hurts people's, when I say hurt, I mean it depresses people. Like what disheartens coaches is when I hear them say, I don't have enough money, so I'm going to focus on this, but I'm so focused on this, I feel like I'm stuck for some reason, and the money trap is what, or the money challenges are the only things that are in their mind, right? They're so worried about where the next paycheck's going to come in that they don't coach. Like the whole coach, you end up entering and I've been there where I've entered a desperate mode, right? And you're desperate. So what happens is you suck at coaching. You suck at coaching because you're so worried about your finances. And then all these 4, 5, 7, 10 different things, that other hats you feel you got to wear, that again, as an entrepreneur, and this is an entrepreneurial issue, right? This isn't just coaches, entrepreneurs in general, that if you don't have other revenue streams, then your focus in your drive to generate money and follow the rule of doing just one thing, you end up doing one thing and having all these issues, and you suck at that one thing. You're not executing good. You're all right. You're not delivering coaching. You're not doing what you need to do because you've got 500,000 other things, another million worries, including money, that ends up impacting what you want to do with your life. It'd be so much easier if you could generate revenue to where you're coaching, which a lot of us do this for the love, the passion, or purpose of supporting or helping others, right? Wouldn't it be nice? And I'm just throwing this out there. Jason, you and I, we got to brainstorm on this. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to coach and not worry about where the next paycheck's coming from, so you could actually deliver coaching, help others? That's what you want to do, right? And free your mind to think about those creative ideas. Free your time to deliver that training, that coaching, because there's no money stress. Now, and I see this all the time too, where people say, I want to build a self-paced training course so I can be sleeping on the beach and making money, right? That's the dream. That's great. I'm all about automation, so that's great, but you can't necessarily depend on it. But what if you had 2, 3, 4 other revenue streams that are, and it doesn't take up more of your time, or it takes up very little of your time, so that you can coach more? And that's where, Jason, I'd like to get, you mentioned no more 9 to 5. And I'm like, wait a minute. If you have no more 9 to 5 and it teaches all those different strategies, shouldn't everyone in Rock Your Academy have those no more 9 to 5 strategies? Because every coach is someone that doesn't want the 9 to 5 job. That's the reason they're coaching. You get to set your own time. You get to share your experiences. You get to do what you love, which typically is helping others. And again, you're monetizing your experience. So what do you think? And I know I'm throwing this at you. So
here's the thing about No More 9 to 5 Club. It can be a game changer for a lot of people. It's a free toolbox that people can use. They can use it for themselves and get value and never share it with anybody. Or they can use it, especially for coaches, and they can take that value and apply it to other people's lives, only where they actually need the value, still have their integrity, and benefit monetarily from it. Diversification is key. And when it comes to properties, I don't have all my properties in one neighborhood. A hurricane could come through and wipe them out. Not a good look. You need to spread them out. all my investments aren't in properties. I've got Forex, we've got crypto, we've got stocks, we've got other things. Diversification is key. So when you talk about different income streams, it's very, very important. One of my favorite subjects, Ronnie, is psychology. And I like to refer to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. A lot of our coaches, they want to leave their 9 to 5 and they want to go out there and help people. Can you truly help people if your needs aren't met? It's a little bit more difficult to go out and put your best foot forward and not think about yourself when you're hungry. I'm just being honest. All right. I want to make sure that our people's food, bellies are full and they're equipped with the knowledge, the tools, and the skill set to go out and achieve everything they want to achieve. And if that's helping people just in their niche, that's fine. But what I do is I don't apply to, I like you, especially being ex-military, we work multiple jobs, work multiple hats, dad, brother, coach, consultant, whatever, you name it, we've done a lot. So I'm not going to limit myself to one tool or one set of skills to help other people. I'm going to use all my skills and all my tools. And the No More 9 to 5 Club is a collection of those opportunities, some of them, not even all of them, paired with wealth mindset training, financial literacy, social and emotional intelligence, character development, trusted advisor training, alpha training, a lot of different types of trainings to help people break out of their barriers to success. Remember I talked about when I was a disabled veteran outreach program specialist, I help veterans overcome barriers to employment. I want to help individuals overcome their barriers to success. Whatever is stopping them, if they don't have the mindset to lower their bills, I don't know if I can help them. Somebody can win the lottery today and be broke in a year. And if they don't change their mindset, that can happen. Somebody else can be completely poor today, never win the lottery, change their mindset, and look like they won the lottery next year. So it's all about mindsets. It's extremely important to know what you're doing and make the right choices and plan ahead. So that's what we're doing here.
You know what? Let's do this. Because we're coming to the end of our podcast anyways here. What I'd like to do is, again, this is just coming back from feedback from the coaches and what we see. We know the coaches want to help others. We know they want to build a program. We're helping them with that. We help them with the building of the program, the technology. And if you're in the mastermind, right, the Rocky Marketing Mastermind, we actually help you with the marketing. But there's always still, as an entrepreneur, a lot of people transitioning from a job, a 9 to 5 job, into an entrepreneurial position. In essence, they need the No More 9 to 5 toolbox. And you said it's free, right? The No More 9 to 5 toolbox is free.
And check this out. Right now, we're even still giving the free done for you funnel. So the VIP fast track upgrade, normally we're going to charge for it, especially for everybody in RockU, completely free. Our team will actually get them set up on their accounts, no credit card required, and get their funnel delivered to them for free.
So based on that, I love that. So why don't we do another podcast where you talk more just all about No More 9 to 5, what it is, what it includes. And so it's another part of RockU Academy's as a strategic partnership to where we're saying, hey, while we're building this and getting your business launched, understand that there are strategies to help you develop your wealth, right? Other money saving tips, tools, techniques, and money making tools, tips and techniques, right? If you have the money saving and the money making, then hopefully it alleviates some of that stress so that people ultimately can be that rock star coach because they are truly embracing everything without all this worry behind them. Does that make sense?
Total sense. As a matter of fact, you gave me another idea. I want people to know that RockU Academy and JV Jams is in the earnings section of the No More 9 to 5 Club. So as well, this is a way that you can spread this and share this once you have it figured out. I don't want anybody to talk to anybody about the club unless they've actually figured out what we're doing. But this is a tool that you can also educate others. So once you take advantage, you get it figured out. On the website, we have a customized roadmap. So somebody can literally just answer questions. They're going to get a printout of their best moves based on their answers. There's so many great tools in here. When you talk about being, joint ventures, partnerships, JVing, having these different tools in your toolbox is literally a step in that direction. Being able to talk to different people and add value to different people's lives is the No More 9 to 5 Club's mission. we may not have every tool in the club that may benefit you, but there is a tool in the club that can benefit everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. And again, these are all ideas for wealth strategies. We'll have more of these type of talks. Jason, thanks for being a part of this. And we're going to be co-hosting a number of podcasts together as we talk and interview a couple other people bringing wealth strategies and sales and marketing tips and techniques for coaches. So let's get started. I got a couple more ideas. So I know we'll be talking again.
Podcast part 2. Aloha, Ronnie, and I'll see you on the inside, brother.
Aloha.